Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with another video. I wasn't intending to make this video, but as this is on Twitter, stuff pops up. But actually, this video, of course, one second, of course RJ can't make up his mind whether he wants to stay or go. It's like that old song, should I stay or should I go? One second. Anyway, so as I was saying, things are always moving at a breakneck pace on Twitter, but this is actually more a video that's inspired by a comment I received on my previous video about the harassment that Gina Carano, Anna, that Star Wars girl, and the faux harassment that Anita Sarkeesian gets. Um, there was a comment left from that video, and that comment and what's going on with James Arnold Taylor and several others sort of inspired me to make this video. So let me read the comment, right? So the comment comes from Henk van der Laak. I am totally sorry. I probably butchered that. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Now here's what Henk had to say on the previous video about Gina and Anita and Anna. Right? Getting harassed on Twitter and being bothered by it, that's like jumping in the sewer and complaining about the vermin. My free and worthless 2-cent advice: just stay off Twitter. Even better, stay off social media altogether. Your opinions will not be missed, and you will miss nothing by not reading the opinions of complete strangers. Life's too short to spend it in the continuous avalanche of raw sewage that social media has become. Added benefit, you will not know who Anita Sarkeesian is. Now, as I responded I responded in that to that comment in the video itself, stating that I knew of Anita and know of Anita actually from her video series, Tropes versus Women, which is from several years back, like 2012, 2013, 2014. I originally heard about Anita from people making response videos and debunking videos about her, and then I followed up and I saw her content for myself, and that's when I became familiar with her. So you can't always escape social media unless you just want to not be on the internet. And I don't think anybody can avoid being online if you have internet connectivity. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I really want to talk about is this idea that Hank proposes, right? Which is just, why pay attention to Twitter? Why pay attention to what anyone says there? And it's one of those things where, in theory, in theory, right? In an ideal situation, I agree, right? As an idea, as a principle, I agree. Yes, right? Why be so overly invested and concerned about what other people think about you or think about others? In that sense, I agree completely with what Hank says. It's just one of those things where I agree in theory, but I can't agree in practice. And here's why, right? I know this might be a bit hard to read, so I'll read it. My editing software, I don't know what in the world's going on with it. But anyway, this is from James Arnold Taylor, who's a voice actor. He's probably best known for his role on Clone Wars as the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Right, so he tweets here, says, I am extremely saddened to see this absolute false claim being made about me. Anyone can look at my Parler account and see that I post the same things I post here and my other social media platforms. I would ask whoever posted this to contact me and we can discuss this slander. Right? And this, among many things, is why I can't agree with Hank's advice, right, or comment in practice, right? The account that originally posted this information, which is NESBot, right? Says voice actor James Arnold Taylor, voice of Ratchet, Titus Obi-Wan, is posting racist and COVID conspiracy theories on Parler, and the link they give is from Reset Era. And if you're familiar with Reset Era, you know that Reset Era is terribly toxic and they lie about many things. Here's the thing though. You can't turn your back when people are lying about you, which is why you really can't turn your back on Twitter or social media as much as you may personally want to, especially if you are a working professional in the entertainment business, such as James Arnold Taylor, Gina Carano, and even that Star Wars girl, Anna, that Star Wars girl, in a sense, given that, she does have an online presence. She has a channel. She makes money from it, like many people do. She's a working professional artist. She just had a Vampirella cover over the summer, right? A few months ago. Right? So if you are a working professional in the creative arts, right? In entertainment in any fashion, for better or worse, you need a Twitter. And unfortunately, what's been going on Twitter, is more than just people saying, oh, his work sucks. He's a terrible voice actor. I hate his Tidus. I hate his Ratchet. Right? He doesn't sound right as Obi-Wan. I don't like it. I understand Hank's advice if that's the type of criticism you're running into. Right? Don't dignify schoolyard taunts with a response, right? That's from one of the songs in Hamilton, one of the cut songs from Hamilton, right? I think it's Congratulations, right? It's the song where Angelica, who is Eliza's sister, kind of like calls out Hamilton for the affair. But anyway, right? I understand that approach when it comes to just, people saying mean things. But what goes on Twitter is beyond that, right? This person, this NES bot account spread lies, right? James Arnold Taylor even says we can discuss this slander, right? Slander is a legal term, right? He's dropping a legal term. He's trying to be nice about it, but he's pretty much saying you in trouble, right? And this is why, in my opinion, you cannot necessarily just turn your back and just get off social media. I wish people could, but in many instances, you really can't, because the people online who hate you will go beyond just saying, mean things about your work. They will say things about your character. They will lie about who you are. They will lie about your good name. That's happened long before Twitter, right? So long as there's a means of communication, there will be people who will use it, or rather who will misuse it, and who will use it to spread falsehoods and lies that uh, denigrate a person's good name, right? That's why we have slander and libel laws, right? To mitigate this, to legally address this, should it happen, right? And whether the most popular means of communication to a public group, or to the public, is through the news or TV or radio, or literally standing in the town square in the middle of town and shouting, hey, so-and-so is a racist, right? It isn't about the medium. It's about the message, right? The most popular medium is by far and large YouTube and Twitter. And so long as you have a medium that can reach people and mold their minds with both good information and bad information, you need to be mindful of what people are saying about you. As much as you might want to personally turn your back and walk away, you really can't. You have to at least be mindful of what others are saying about you, so that you can catch them in a lie, just like this, right? If he wasn't paying attention, he wouldn't know that unfounded rumors from Reset Era are being spread on Twitter, which is naturally going to influence the way both his fan base and those who are familiar with his work and those who don't know his work are going to view him, right? And it's not just James Arnold Taylor. Again, people were lying. I saw it in real time. People were lying about Anna, that Star Wars girl, saying that she's racist, she's sexist, she's homophobic, she had some sort of sexual intent or attraction to the designs. And she said time and time again in each response that no, that's not it. I didn't say that. You're reading into things. You have a problem. Get help. Right? Now let's be honest. These tweets, right, either to Anna or to James Arnold Taylor or to Gina Carano, again, calling her a racist or a transphobe or, this, that, and the other, right? These aren't really about the individual person, right? These aren't like, oh, I hate you, I'm going to ruin you. No, it's about control, right? It's about making people bow. In this particular case with James Arnold Taylor, I think this is truly more about Parler, right? Bye, see ya. Excuse me, but many people, including Gina Carano, right, have been promoting Parler more and more and more. So what happens now? It suddenly comes out that again, unfounded rumors and statements by Reset Era, which is known to be toxic, right? Sincerely toxic, right? Unfounded rumors saying that Parler is right wing and people are saying racist and COVID conspiracies and all that. No, they're not. No, they're not. This is about stopping people leaving, right? Stopping people from leaving Twitter and going to Parler, right? I saw tweets from Taylor Drake about, again, like I mentioned in the other video, right, accusing people of going to Parler of being snowflakes uh, and going to a safe space, right? Again, there are tweets from other people, right, NES Spot and whatnot, and just this general movement on Twitter to label anybody who's going to Parler or says, hey, find me on Parler, as some sort of social ill, to shame them, to ruin their professional reputation, right? It's like, what they really want is submission and control. Now, if they have to ruin your good name, then that's what they'll do. But that's really what they're after, right? You know how people say, it's not business, it's not personal, it's just business. That's kind of how I view it here. But these people, like those at Reset Era and those who support them and those who retweet what they say without critically analyzing it, or at least questioning it, you know, they contribute, right, to this tearing down of a person, of ruining their reputation, all because, again, they're saying something or doing something or thinking something that the Twitterati have decided is unacceptable. It's happening to James Arnold Taylor. It's been happening to Gina Carano. Again, unfounded allegations of transphobia, of racism, right? Right. Again, it's beyond just saying, "Oh, I think she's a terrible actress." Yeah, let that go in one ear out the other. But we're not talking about that. We are talking about uh, that's what I'm looking for. Disparaging comments regarding character, right? Nobody wants to work with a racist. Nobody wants to work with a misogynist. One second. Nobody wants to work with a transphobe, right? So when you make those type of allegations and you make them unfounded, right, it hurts your career. Look at Johnny Depp, right? Allegations were made against him by his former wife, Amber Heard, right? And people picked up on them and people believed them uncritically without thinking about it just because a woman said it. And now look, right? Look at the damage it's done to his life. Look at, for example, Vic Mignogna, right? His whole situation last year. We all saw that roll out in real time, right? Monica Rial and Jamie Markey and many others making unfounded allegations about Vic and accusing him of being a sexual predator and sexual misconduct. And guess what? In the end, all we found out was that he's a diva and a bad boyfriend. Those allegations were ultimately unfounded, right? At least in the court of public opinion, right? The legal case is still out, I guess you could say. Hasn't really been decided yet, though at least the part that we did see didn't go in Vic's favor. But the law is like that at times. That's why you have appeals and whatnot. But, Jesus Christ. But anyway, right, so we're all aware, right? There was Judge Kavanaugh, right, about 2 years ago, and many others, right, of when a person makes allegations online, and those allegations are unfounded and they are just believed because people, for one reason or another, want to believe the accuser without listening to the accused person, right? Automatically assuming that the accuser must be guilty. In fact, I'm seeing this right now in real time regarding Quentin Flynn, the voice actor. right? The Kingdom Hearts game has just dropped, and not conveniently, there's a account called Beware Quentin Flynn saying that there's evidence of him and there's audio clips and whatnot of him, macking on underage girls or and whatnot, right? So I actually found out about this through Elsie Lovelock's Twitter. She's like a YouTube singer. She does covers, very nice. So I found out through there, and what I've seen is people automatically believing this. I was one of the few who asked in the comments, like, why do you believe this tweet? Where's the evidence? Why do you believe this? Right? And I looked at some of the evidence, and I looked at the person's Twitter account, right? The actual Twitter account this information is coming from. And while I have more research to do, I will say that at the moment, I have a hard time believing their allegations because their entire channel, I shouldn't say channel, their entire account seems to be dedicated to ruining Quentin Flynn, right? In fact, let me see if I can pull it up. 1 second. 1 second. Let me see here. Oh, come on, computer. Come on, computer. Here we go. 1 second. All right, so okay, so here's what's happening. I'm looking at the Beware of Quentin Flynn account right now, right? And this is in the bio. It says, my last words to Quentin Flynn were, I am going to make it my goal that you never hurt another woman after what he did to me and others that I've spoken to. So it says the location is probably in your DMs. It says that they joined back in January of 2020, right? So earlier this year. So they've been online for about almost a year now, right? And from what I looked through in this channel, and again, I have to do a more thorough search. I want to do a more thorough look before I make a video actually, into the allegations. And plus I want to give some time for the allegations to, is there more information going to come out, right? Is this anything going to build from this, right? So I want to give it a few days. But from what I did see on that account, I didn't see anything definitive. It comes across to me, and again, I'll link to it and you can decide for yourself, but the account seems to be a hate account, right? A person looking for revenge, saying that, I'm going to make him pay for what he did to me and every woman like me. Doesn't seem to be invested in any sort of accountability or justice for any potential victims, right? Now, again, Quentin could be guilty, right? Quentin could be a creep. It could also be another Vic Mignogna situation. I will admit, at least at present, from what I've seen, it's looking like another Vic Mignogna situation, and we saw what that did to Vic's career and what that did to his mental state and to his personal life, right? So as much as I want to, I can't agree with the opinion of just turn your back, right? Just walk away. Just turn off your Twitter, right? You don't need to know what other people think or what other people think about you. You do when people are lying. When people are lying and denigrating your good name and people are believing the lie, right? There's a line, I think, from the Karate Kid 2, I think it is, where Mr. Miyagi says that, right, a lie only becomes true. So it's something to the effect of like a lie becomes the truth when people believe it, right? And that's what's happening here, right? We all know social media, in particular Twitter, is used to form opinions, to mold and shape opinions, right? For example, there was the DC Million MAGA March, I think yesterday, right? And I saw tweets in real time, right? Um, Completely misrepresenting what the march was about, what the marchers were about, right? Calling Trump supporters, Nazis and racist and alt right and all this and all that, right? And then when Antifa rolls up on them and starts, fighting them and abusing them and screaming at them, throwing things. One dude got like a clothesline from hell in the back, right? And all this stuff, right? The media spins that as just uh, protesters fighting, or as the Antifa types, breaking up some sort of Nazi clan meeting or something, and that's exactly not what happened. That's not what happened at all, right? Those people were attacked. Now, you can disagree with the message of Trump and Make America Great Again and the Republicans all you like. You're entitled to your opinions, but you're not entitled to lie about other people. And you're certainly not entitled to, run up on them and attack them. But here's the thing, we all know which narrative the media is going to go with. So who do you trust? Who do you believe? Who do you listen to? This is why you have to look into things for yourself. But people don't do that. People don't do that. They don't look for themselves. They don't think for themselves. I've seen people time and time again, tweet after tweet after tweet, retweeting these alleged allegations against Quentin Finn and going, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought he was such a nice guy." I'm like, did you think to ask? Did you think to look? Apparently, these people didn't. They just believed what was tweeted without actually looking into it. And sadly, so long as people do that, you're going to have situations here like Quentin, right? And like James Arnold Taylor, who has to come onto his Twitter and say that these tweets about him being on Parler and tweeting COVID conspiracies and racist stuff and whatnot are false, and that's why he has to use legal terminology like slander and subtly claim that he'll take action, potential legal action, if he needs to. So, with all due respect to Hank and the idea of you don't need to know what other people think or say about you. Yeah, you do. When people are going to spread lies and falsehood about you, you need to know what they're saying, and you need to know it as soon as possible so that you can nip it in the bud, and at least your response can be out there, right? There has to be people out there who will meet this challenge, right? And again, some people like, don't give Anita a platform, don't talk about her. Again, I understand where that sentiment comes from, and there's a part of me, a strong part of me, that agrees with it. But then there's another part of me that says, but you can't let false allegations like this go unanswered. Perhaps it's just the legal eagle in me, right? But you can't let allegations go unanswered. If you make an allegation, and I see all the time in my professional work, if a person makes an allegation, right, there has to be a response, right? If a person makes an allegation, the investigator, what they have to do is then talk to the person who's being accused, get their side of the story, talk to anybody on either side of it, right, who might have any information, take all those testimonies, take all that evidence, bring it together, and basically put together this puzzle and try to figure out what most likely happened and what most likely is true, right? That's the job of an investigator, or a fact finder, I guess you could say. Unfortunately, in this case, most people are not going to even attempt to even half-ass do that. They're just going to believe what what they are told, what they are spoon-fed, because this is how media has trained them. Media more and more is training people to not think critically. And then you have people who, when they do think critically, who do ask questions, and yeah, I experienced this. I tweeted, why do you believe this? And then I got some person yelling at me, right? But to be fair, that person did apologize, so water under the bridge. They said I thought I was being disingenuous. So again, can you believe that a person ask a question. A person challenges a narrative and asks, "Why do you believe this?" And the person who insults them, right? And when they later apologize, they say, "Well, I thought you were being disingenuous. I was disingenuous, or this person thought I was disingenuous because I asked a question and I asked why, right? I asked, why do you think this? Why do you believe this?" And there's at least one person who automatically assumed from my questioning that I was being disingenuous, right? What that really says is that, why didn't you just believe? Well, I can't just believe. I don't believe or disbelieve anything until I see proof for or against it. That's why. Because as I think it was Depth Charge. Let me find it. Come on, computer. Uh, 1 second. Come on, computer. Here we go. Oh, come on, come on. Come on, computer. Oh. Load, load, load. Let me see. Maybe it's in tweets and replies. You'll hear, that's my, if you hear anything, that's my family member ranting, ranting up a storm. Where is it? Maybe it's in my notifications instead. I'm trying to find the quickest way to it. Because Depth Charge had a really good take on it, and I want to share that before I close this up. So, here we go. So here's what Depth Charge uh, said when I tweeted about the allegations of Quinton Flynn, or rather, what I tweeted was that for anybody who was going to come at me for not automatically believing the Where Quinton Flynn channel, or I keep saying channel, it's an account, the Twitter account. Why? Because of my professional experience in assisting in investigations of sexual misconduct. Now, what Depth Charge had to say was, all allegations of misconduct should be taken seriously and should not be believed at face value. People lie. That's what we do as imperfect people. Too many have had their lives destroyed because accusations have been accepted as truth by the powers that be and the general public. And Depth Charge, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's why I cannot and I do not believe nearly anything I hear, especially on Twitter. And as much as I want to agree with Hank Vanderlack's take on things, rather take on Twitter, that's why I can't, in good conscience, say, "Oh, just walk away, just turn your back." Because when people say things, when people lie, right? The line from House, right? Everybody lies. When people lie, you've got to answer that lie. And you answer that lie with the truth. And if all the people who are speaking truth, right, or standing up for others walk away, well,